Hi guys, and welcome to PPC Terms and Acronyms. In this lecture, we are going to be learning PPC terms and acronyms. I'm actually really excited to share this lecture with you guys. This is probably one of the more fundamental ones. If you are familiar with the world of PPC, if you've dabbled in it at all, if you've done any work in it, a lot of this may be info you're already very familiar with. But those of you who are really getting a fresh start in PPC and have never really tried anything in PPC, this is going to be a very, very good one to kind of give you a basis to build off of. Something I would like to these are the main key terms that you will frequently hear me use throughout this course, and that you'll definitely hear throughout your time and experience with PPC. Now, there's actually so many more words and acronyms and terms in PPC, especially if you're including other platforms outside of meta ads, but these are the key ones that are kind of synonymous everywhere and that we're definitely going to use in this meta class. And like I said, you'll have access to all of the words, and I'll make a kind of like a glossary for you on this presentation. So let's start out with the basic one right here. Clicks. Now, that seems obvious to most, and you would hope it is, but truthfully, it isn't super obvious, especially if you've never done anything in PPC. So, by definitions, clicks are basically, as simple as it goes, is a click registered from your ads. You know, someone clicked on your ads, they did what they were supposed to, that is a click. Okay, that's a pretty easy one, obviously. The next one is going to be conversion. Now, conversion is someone took the desired action by your visitor, such as filling out a form, making a purchase, getting in contact, whatever. Basically, a conversion is just they completed the goal that you wanted. That could be, like I said, a lead, that could be a purchase, that could be scheduling a consultation, but a conversion is just basically success in your ad. You accomplish the goal that you set out to do. Okay, so here's our first acronym, okay? CPC. Now, most people probably know what this is, but that's cost per click. And basically what that means is just how much are you paying per click. So if you have 50 clicks on this campaign so far, 50 people have clicked from the campaign, divide that by how much money you've spent, and that's your cost per click. And all the platforms, and I'm sure as you guys have seen, like in the Facebook ads, it tells you all that, but that's what CPC is. CPC, one thing I will say is it's a good judge of if you're hitting some of the right points in your ads, because if you're running split tests, if you're running ads on a larger scale, you can compare CPCs from different campaigns based on creatives and targeting, and it can actually be very, very telling of how your campaign's doing and which ones perform better and potentially why. Okay, so CPC, good. Next one is going to be CTR. That is click-through rate. Now, click-through rate is basically the percentage of people that clicked on your ad based on the number of impressions. So it's a way to measure the success. So basically 1,000 people saw it, 100 people clicked on it, you got a 10% CTR. That's basically the formula behind it. Now, CTR is actually incredibly important because it's a great, in my opinion, judge of the success and the structure of your ads and how well they're put together from top to bottom. Usually, like when I'm taking over a client's account or I'm auditing someone's account for a consultation or what have you, when I look at other people's ads a lot, their CTRs are usually low. And usually when I run my campaigns, my CTRs are very high. Now, what's a high CTR? Truthfully, if I'm not mistaken, industry standards around 1% to 3% for CTRs, depending on the industry, on your ad spend, a bunch of factors, obviously. Usually my CTRs are 4, 5, 6, sometimes even 7%. It's a good judge of how good your ads are because it's basically saying this many people saw it, this many people clicked on it. If it's a super low percentage, they're not clicking on it for a reason. Now, on the other side of things, I'm involved in a soap company that I have partial ownership in, and you can actually kind of use CTR to judge if it's the website / landing page that's the problem, or if it's your ads that are the problem. And what I mean by that is if you got a really high CTR on your ads, 4%, 5%, but you're not getting any purchases or any conversions still, it may not be your ads because people are clicking through your ads, they're just not converting on the actual website. So that's a very good indication that it's the website. And the reason I mentioned my soap company is because when we first started running ads a couple months ago, the CTRs were incredibly high, like 6%. 6%, but we weren't getting any sales from any of my ads. And I was like, that's a clear indication it's the website and not the ads. And sure enough, after going through the website, auditing the website, doing a bunch of stuff with our devs and redoing stuff, it was the website. We started getting conversions. There was nothing, I didn't change anything about the ads, and they started getting sales. So CTR is a really good one to pay attention to. Click-through rate. Next is bounce rate. Now, bounce rate is basically the percentage of people who come to your website, do absolutely nothing, and leave. You want this percentage to be lower. The higher this percentage is means there's something wrong with your website. There's something, maybe it's not mobile friendly. Maybe it's not clear what they're supposed to do. Maybe it could be a plethora of reasons, but you want a lower bounce rate. But that's basically what bounce rate is, and you'll hear that a lot. The better your pages are, the better your call to action is, the better your offer is, the lower your bounce rate should always be. Okay. Next one is going to be quality score. Now, this isn't one I pay too much attention to, but it is something that I factor in sometimes depending on the situation. Quality score is a complex and kind of not all the aspects of it are known how it takes it into consideration with like the pixel and stuff. But basically, to sum it up, it's the score of your ad on a scale of 1 to 10, at least in the meta ads. That basically scales, like it factors in everything. It factors in your CTR, like we talked about. It factors your CPC. It factors all of the metrics in your ads and basically rates their performance and if they're good ads or not. And the better your ad is, the higher scoring your ad is, the better engagement your ad gets organically from being shown to people, technically not organic. The better your quality score and the more frequently you're likely to have your ad shown, and the more the algorithm will favor you, the higher your quality score is because you produced a better ad that people are responding to. So that's quality score. And there is quality scores like throughout the PPC world, like when you're running campaigns. That's quality score. Next is going to be remarketing. Now, this is something we'll get pretty heavily into later in the class, and I'll actually have a couple lectures devoted to it because it's a very useful technique for making PPC work and make money. But to sum it up, remarketing is basically showing ads to people who have already either seen your ads, already been to your website, whatever, but remarketing to those people exclusively who have already interacted with you, and just continually showing them your ads because they've already expressed interest. So obviously remarketing to them is not a bad idea because they went to your website, like they were curious enough to check it out, to do something. So why not keep pushing them? And there's like strategies that we'll talk about with that, but that's basically remarketing in a nutshell, and that's throughout all platforms. Final one in this column is going to be ROI. You may have heard this before because that's not necessarily a PPC term, but ROI just means return on investment. How much are you spending versus how much are you getting? Pretty simple on that one. This next one is ROAS, and that's one you'll definitely hear me say a lot, and one I definitely always care about, especially when I'm running ads for myself, for my clients, literally anytime money's involved, which is almost always because it's PPC. ROAS is one of my primary focuses, and what ROAS stands for, if you're not familiar, is return on ad spend. The ratio of money spent on ads versus the amount of money that those ads generated in sales or leads or what have you, whatever your goal is. So it's basically the ratio of how many dollars does it take to get X dollars kind of thing. ROASs go all over the map. A 2 to 3 to 4 ROAS is usually really good in the goal, but I've had ROASs in the teens, I've had ROASs in the 20s, and I've even had ROASs in the 30s. And basically, like when I show you guys this on the meta ads, like ROAS is like one of the campaigns I was checking this morning that I'm running for a client, the ROAS is 2.96 that I just started. So like that would basically mean every dollar we spend on ads, we're getting $2.96 back every dollar we spend. ROAS is incredibly important because if you're not making money on your ads, there's no point. Like I said, 2, 3, 4 is the typical goal, but like you can definitely get higher, especially if you know what you're doing, and there's other factors that can contribute to getting a higher ROAS, but that's what ROAS are and what they stand for, and you'll hear that term a lot in PPC. Next is going to be CPL, which can also be referred to sometimes as CPA, but basically CPL means cost per lead, and CPA just means cost per acquisition, which is technically the same thing. Basically, what are you paying per lead? What are you paying per acquisition? Like, what are you paying to get a customer? Like, and that obviously matters, especially when you're running it for your own business or you're running it for a client, like, because obviously there's a margin to be made. If you're spending $300 for a new lead, but each lead that you get and close you make $1,500 off of, that's a great return. So that's just another acronym used to measure data and statistics, but CPL, cost per lead, or sometimes known as CPA, cost per acquisition. Okay, next one is going to be CPM. That is cost per thousand. So basically what you're willing to pay or what you are paying per 1,000 impressions. So every 1,000 people that see this, this is what you're paying. Now that cost varies drastically. I don't usually base too much off of that, especially like when I'm taking over a client like ads, just because CPMs can range so heavily based on your competition, your competitors, the time of year, the geography of where you're targeting. There is like so many things that affect that, like, and CPMs can range so much, like especially around Christmas time, a lot of CPMs get crazy high because there's a lot of large companies milking it for Christmas and Black Friday and all that kind of stuff and Cyber Monday. So CPMs range. It's a good thing to know, especially because it's something you can compare and base your campaigns off of. Like, okay, in this campaign I was paying $9 per thousand, and this campaign I was paying $16. So obviously whatever I was doing in this campaign needs to be looked at further because we're getting way more bang for our buck. That's CPM. So next is going to be CPV, a little less relevant in Facebook ads, especially the style of ads I'm going to be showing you, but cost per view is basically what that means. Same thing as cost per click. It's just how much it costs per view. Especially, and that usually typically means more in like the video sense, like you're showing a video like a YouTube ad or Instagram video, like cost per view. Okay, that one's pretty simple. So we're down to the final three, at least for key terms. Destination URL, this one's pretty simple. It's just basically where are you sending people from your ad? What is the exact URL that you're sending them to? That's the destination URL. The display URL is basically a mask of the destination URL. And let me give you an example. Some of you may have heard of this company. It's called Axis, AXS. It's a very large ticket event music venue company here in the United States. It's like Ticketmaster basically. And one of my clients works with them, okay? And they sell concerts and event tickets and all that kind of things. Well, the actual URL of the landing page to buy the tickets is incredibly long. It's like axis.com/the artist/the date/the venue/ a bunch of code. And it looks terrible. So even though I have to send them to that page to buy the tickets, and I use that as my destination URL, for the display URL, I change it to look more appealing so I just change it to axis.com/the-artist, and it looks really clean. Now, personally, that's not a huge factor or anything, but I think it helps, and I think it makes your ad a little more presentable, a little more trustworthy, and there's definitely situations like the one I just described where the display URL actually may be able to help you a little bit more and get more bang for your buck. And I'll talk about that more in later classes, but that's what a display URL is. And the final one for key terms is Facebook dynamic ads. So Facebook dynamic ads are automatically created ads for people who have expressed interest on your website or anywhere else. And you basically just upload a product catalog and it'll run indefinitely. And each time it'll be different, and it's basically like, for example, the soap company I mentioned earlier that I'm part of, we have our catalog of all our products, of all of our different products, like 50 plus different products. So I upload that catalog to my ads into the ad center, and basically I can run campaigns that are just dynamic, and they'll based on what the person expressed interest in on the website, it will show them those products again. So basically it's an infinite running ad that I don't really have to do any of the creative for because it's dynamic. Hence the name. And we'll talk more about those, and I'll show you guys how to use those in a later lecture. But in essence, that's what dynamic ads are, in the Facebook sense specifically, or Meta, whatever you want to call it now. So in short, those are the key terms you'll be hearing me use throughout this course. I do actually want to say that if you have any questions on any of the terms, if you have any misunderstandings, reference this PowerPoint that I'm going to include in this lecture, because I will spell it all out for you. I'll have a full glossary of all the terms you guys can look at. But if you're really stumped on something, don't be afraid to message me a question. At the time of filming this, I have about 5,000 students. I don't reply to every message, but if I try to reply to everything, especially people in my paid courses that are asking questions. So if there's something that stumps you, something that's just not quite clicking, always feel free to reach out and I'll try my best to respond. I hope this lecture was helpful for you guys. I'm looking forward to showing you what's in the rest of this class. I'll see you.